Are you ready for it?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my husband Jared, and today we are, well, I just said today twice, but we're going to do a Q&A on getting married at 18 or 19, or young marriage, just kind of in that vicinity. So I put on like basically everyone on my social media for people to ask me questions. Okay, the first question is, when did you know that this was the person you were going to marry? Was there a specific moment, or did you know right away? We have like a really long backstory, but we were friends for like since 8th grade. We've just been best friends and everything, and he liked me for the longest time, and I didn't really have feelings back for him or anything. But we kind of went through a really rough period, and we weren't really friends for a while, for like a year, because I kind of friend zoned him, and that really hurt him. And yeah, but it all was in God's timing though. During that time, his mom was dying. She had cancer, and she's actually in heaven now. But during that time, he was able to grow more closer to her and not have to be distracted with having a crush or anything like that. And eventually we started talking again, and I just remember there was this one night, we were on our way back we went to a radio station at youth group. I just remember like there was this one girl who was flirting with Jared, and I just got really like mad out of nowhere, like in my head. I'm like, why am I getting mad? Like, I don't like him, I never will. And all of a sudden, I just remember having God specifically tell me, this is the man that you're gonna marry. So at that moment, that's when I knew I was going to marry him. But at that point, we weren't really dating or anything. We were still just friends. We went into our relationship marriage-minded. We didn't go into our relationship just because we wanted to date or have time, like something to pass time with, or somebody to just hang out with for a little bit, and then when I get tired of them, I'll dump them and, you know, just have fun or whatever. But we went into our relationship that this was headed towards marriage, and if it didn't work out, then it didn't work out. But we know that when we started our relationship that we were in it for the long run, not just for here and now kind of thing. What do you say to people who say you are too young? Do you want to answer that?
Well, honestly, I mean, people don't really ask me that question. People ask Cassie that question. I mean, most of my friends like kind of know already, but I mean, I'll still answer it. I mean, it's not really, it doesn't really matter. Like, see, the way I look at it as, you can be 50 years old and you can marry someone, but if that's not the person that the Lord has for you, it doesn't really make a difference at all. Like, it's still gonna end up being, you know, I mean, it could work out, but it's not going to be what the Lord intended, and it's not going to go the right direction either way. So, I mean, whether you're 18, whether you're 30, or whether you're the proper age, which I don't even really know what it is.
Like 25
I mean,
or something.
It's all about, you know, what the Lord has for you. I mean, it's not like, you know, we're not saying that everyone that's 18 should get married. You know, it's just, you know, the Lord, he has some people not to get married at all. But it's just whatever the Lord has, whatever his timing is. And I mean, that's kind of it. That kind of sums it up, so.
Yeah. Next question is, how did you save/pay for a wedding, house, honeymoon, etc.? For our wedding, we actually, we got a lot of help from family, and we did pay for a lot of it ourselves, but we did get a lot of help from my parents, and I know my grandma helped like with my cake and everything. I was gonna like do it yourself, a lot of the stuff, and I was trying to like plan all that out and like do it yourself, and like people would come in and be like, hey, no, I want to pay for this for you, kind of thing. And I never really like went and asked people, because like I didn't want to be that person like asking people like for help. Like, I was set on like doing everything myself. Like, I was gonna bake my own wedding cake by myself. So I would say though, make sure that you are putting money aside for that, because it is very expensive, and we had a budget set, and we were like, we stuck pretty good to it, I think.
Well, in terms of like for like a house and like honeymoon and stuff,
that you definitely want to save.
Well, for like our honeymoon, my dad. That was actually the hotel was a wedding gift from him. He paid for the stay. We just had to pay for the plane ticket, so it was kind of like a half because the plane ticket was pretty expensive. But in terms of that and the house, we rent, so we didn't have to come up with some huge down payment or anything. Just kind of security, first month's rent, pet fee because we have a cat. But in terms of how we were able to save for that and some of the other costs for the wedding, it just since I was still living with my dad then, I was able to save a ton of my money. So kind of just when I would get my paycheck, I would just put it in the bank. I mean, I know not everyone has that ability because, you know, you might have to pay rent. You might not be able to live with your parents for free. I mean, I don't know your situation, but it might be hard because I didn't really have too much free money that I could just, oh, you know, let's go out, do this. Let's, you know, I would want to buy this, do this new thing came out or something. You know, stuff you do when you're younger, you kind of just have to take it, all the free money that you get goes away, goes in the bank. And I was able to save up a good bit of money from that, so that definitely helped. It just, you gotta save. It's not easy either.
Yeah, just like kind of being mindful, like about where you're putting your money and everything. Not everybody gets help from their parents or family or anything, so I understand that. So our circumstance might be different from somebody else's. So I mean, we did definitely pay for a lot, but we did get a lot of help from family, which we're really blessed to have that. The next question, this one's for me. How did you prepare yourself to be a wife at such a young age? And is it harder than you thought it would be? If so, how have you handled it? We did counseling with our pastor, and that was actually very helpful. We went through this book, I think it was like, what was it? It was like before the, I forget what it was called, but it's somewhere upstairs. But we went through this book, and there's like different chapters, and it could be really like a daunting task. Like at first we're like, oh, this is just like a book, and like it's so long, and all these chapters are long, and all these questions. But looking back on it, I'm really glad that we did it. He's just a really wise man of God, so it was
before you say I do.
Before you say I do, that's what the book's called. So yeah, it was really good just meeting with him and getting his perspective from everything, and it was definitely a lot of prayer and a lot of counseling and wisdom from other people. And you're never prepared like as much as you think you are. You're never really prepared until you're like in this situation. So it has like, we've had like our struggles and like trying to like, we've known each other pretty well, like we've been best friends for a while, so I don't think there's really anything that was that big of a shock. It's not really like anything that I think is like a really big struggle or anything as of now. I mean, we've only been married for about 8 months, almost 9 months now, so it's not really like we've been married for like 5 years or anything like that yet, so it hasn't been that long. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of struggles coming our way because Satan likes to have his way. At least to try to have his way anyway. But yeah, definitely a lot of prayer and counseling, like I said before, and just not being afraid to talk to people, and also being able to receive what other people have to say to you as well. So. And since you got married young, are you planning on having kids young? No. Okay, well, no, not necessarily.
We'll wait 5 years.
Well, if it was up to us, we want to wait anywhere from like 3 to 5 years, depending like our
3 to 5
financial state. You never know. Yeah, hopefully like 5 years. But
if it happens, I mean it happens. We had good advice from a friend the other day that you don't play baseball unless you're planning on hitting a home run. So, but no. I mean, if it happens, it's, you know, it's all in God's timing. It's, you know, He's the one who controls that. So, if, you know, we're not going to certainly try for right now, but, you know, if it happens, then the Lord will help us, you know, be able to afford it financially.
Yeah. Next question is, how did it affect your friendships and socialization with your friends that are of the same age? What has been your biggest challenge or surprise that you experienced after being married?
I mean, it's different. It's not like you can sit there and you can be like, okay, you know, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm gonna go and spend the night at the guys, you know, and we're gonna stay up all night and do whatever. But it's not also like you can't do anything at all. Like, you can still hang out. You can still, you know, you can still do stuff. But it's definitely way, way, way different. Because, you know, once you're married, you know, we are each other's first priorities in terms of spending time with each other. And it's definitely not the same at all. You're accountable to each other. You know, you have to make sure, you know, each other knows what you're doing. It's not like you can just get up and, you know, oh yeah, let's just go impromptu, you know, drive down to Maryland or something and do something. Or it's definitely way different.
It's been like a little bit of an adjustment because like since we are so young, a lot of our friends are around the same age and maybe even a little younger, so they don't really understand because a lot of them haven't even been really in relationships yet anyway. So they think that they're bothering us by trying to ask to hang out. Like, I know some of our friends can be like that they think they're bothering us, or so that's definitely kind of been a little different. But we do still hang out with our friends. We definitely try to socialize with our friends. We'll have people over here and everything because we don't want to just like be like, oh well, we're married now, so it's just us kind of thing. We still want to have friends and we still want to be able to socialize with people. I guess the biggest surprise is probably that a lot of our friends kind of like, it seemed like after the wedding, a lot of them kind of started like trying to like push themselves away a little bit. Which is like, it is different. There's a whole different dynamic once you're married. Like, you can't really be like, hey, come sleep over, like you said, impromptu, like you could when you were single. It definitely is different, and I guess it's gonna take us some getting used to and our friends to getting used to, since we are the first ones out of all of us to get married and everything. So I'm sure it'll be different once they're married and they understand that we still need time with friends. Next one is, having married young myself, the question always was, you haven't figured out who you are. Aren't you worried you will be sorry once you begin to figure that out? How are you going to make sure you grow together and not apart? Jesus. Yeah, we definitely got that a lot. Oh, your brains aren't fully developed, you don't even know what you want, kind of thing. I've definitely heard a lot of that. But you know what? I feel like there's some people that are like in their 30s or 40s that their brains aren't even really fully developed yet.
I don't even think it's about that. It's just, I mean, if I'm old enough to, you know, buy a gun or do something or join the military or something, I'm old enough to get married. You know, I trust what the Lord says, not what some guy in a lab says, you know. And, you know, in terms of that, it's not really that, you know, people just grow apart. It's just people, you know, get bored of the same thing and they want you to go, well, you know, I'm tired of the same old, let me go out, you know, try something new or something. And that's just the world. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about that because, again, we have Jesus, and as long as we stay close to him, you know, the closer we're going to be together.
What's it like financially, and what are some reasons that you're happy that you got married young as opposed to waiting? It's like, financially, we were able to save and everything a decent amount. There has been a little like things kind of thrown our way, but we were able to save and everything, so we were kind of like prepared for them, I guess. Like, we had we don't have health insurance yet because we're still waiting on like the enrollment period. So we had a doctor's visit, and then we had another doctor's visit for him, and when he went to the doctor's, they sent him straight to the hospital, so we had a hospital bill, and yeah, that was just great. Yeah, and then he wrecked his car, and it was just like too much to fix, so he just got a newer car. It's a used car, but it's a newer one. I don't know, it's working out. God has blessed us a lot.
I think that's like one of the things too that ties into the next question about, you know, some of the things that you're happy about that you got married young as opposed to waiting. Like, we're young, you know, we have a lot of energy, you know, we don't have kids, you know, we can go, we can do things. Like, we were able to go across the country, and not that people that are older can't, but I feel like it's just easier for us to be able to, you know, hey, you know, we can save some money and go to another country or something, or you know, go on a mission trip together or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's feel like we have a lot more opportunity as we're younger.
And somebody told me, she got married young as well. And she said that somebody told her that, she's like, well, you two can do more for the Lord together than you can do apart. Next question, how do your parents feel about marriage at a young age? Were they okay with it? How about moving out on your own? Is it easy trying to deal with stuff on your own?
they were all for it.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, for the longest time, my mom always told me that I was gonna marry him because we were always friends. She's like, you're gonna marry him, you're gonna end up marrying him. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna marry him, Mom. But oh my gosh, my parents adore Jared. And they knew before we even knew that we were gonna be getting married. They were all on board for it, and we didn't even really have to sit down and have a conversation with them. They kind of just were kind of like, so when are you guys getting married kind of thing, because they knew we were going to. It was just a matter of when. So, and I mean, same with his dad. He knew we were going to be getting married. So, was planning the wedding out stressful? Yes, it was. There's always a lot of drama from people, and just putting all the details together and working everything out is super stressful. And like when the day finally comes and you're getting ready and it's like, wow, all of this that I've been planning for so long is coming together, and I'm finally marrying the man that I've been dreaming about and praying for my whole life. And our wedding day was just beautiful, and I guess we're biased, but it was a really awesome day, and I wouldn't change it for anything. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna put links to like my Instagram and Twitter below if anybody ever needs to like ask any questions or anything. We'd be more than willing to talk to you or answer your questions. Thank you to everyone who asked us questions. We were really happy to answer them for you. I know that it's really stressful and it's hard at a young age getting married, because it is a change and there's always people who are gonna come for you and attack you and everything. But you know what? My biggest advice to you is to keep your eyes on the Lord, and everything will work out. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe. And just let me know if there's anything you want to see from us, and hopefully we'll be getting some more videos out to you soon.
See you.
Bye.